Welcome to the Model Car Hobby Headquarters Unpodcast with your host, Luka C. Now here he is, Luka C. Well, hello, my fellow car modelers. How are you doing today? Welcome to another Unpodcast here, and I have a return guest, good friend of mine. I have fun talking to this gentleman. I love his model building, and if you didn't watch the last show that we had him on, it was pretty interesting because he's an old racer too, and he's got the perfect name, right? Raisin Garrett.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming back on, Raisin, and I'm looking forward to this. And there's a few things him and I on the interwebs that we go back and forth on that we disagree about with model shows, and it's that pesky the no sweeps rule, right?
Right.
And were you for or against the names on the
I could go either way on that. I understand why they don't want to put them on, but I go along with you as if I see a model that I like, I would like to know who built it so I can go talk to them.
Yeah.
But in reality, I think for the most part, people know who built them. Most of the people at the show know, that's one of so-and-so's builds, or that's one of, his builds. Some people I'm sure don't, but I think the regulars at least do.
Yeah.
So I can go either way on that one. I'm not, I'm okay with either putting them on or not putting them on.
And you are definitely one of the guys. You go to a lot of shows. You got a lot to go on in your area, and you do take the hardware home. You build some really cool models.
Yeah, sometimes
I'm a fan. I've been a fan of yours for a while. But you got that. I mean, you build those cool. I mean, you really do. You do a lot of, like, what I like is old pro stocks or super stock type cars. Stock drag cars. But you do a lot of other stuff, like you just had a custom you just showed, or what was that? What was that latest one you put up? That copper one?
Oh, the one I put up the other day.
Yeah.
That was geez, I guess you would probably call that a pro touring car, maybe.
Wow, that's like something little more modern. Huh?
To me, when you modify a car for appearance, I call that a custom.
Yeah.
And when you modify a car for performance, I call it a street machine. If you modify it for a little of both, you want to add some performance, but you still want some comfort. That's maybe a pro touring.
I've noticed, and we talked about this before, you took a little break from model building. When you came back, you've kind of been expanding your repertoire of the type of builds you do. And you take really cool pictures, and sometimes they trick the eye and you think it's real. But it's
I did try to when I got back into the hobby, I did try to start to do some subjects that I hadn't done before, some different categories, just trying some new things. I've built a semi truck. I've built some circle track cars, stuff that I hadn't done before, and that's kind of fun.
Yeah, definitely. And as I was saying, you've been going to the shows and you've been taking home the hardware. But you are one of the guys that you are all for the no sweeps rule.
Yeah, I am now. I'll admit, originally I agreed with you, but I've changed my mind, and it doesn't have anything to do with the the attitude of everybody gets a trophy kind of thing. I've kind of changed my mind because I try to decide what wins the award. Does the model win the award, or does the model builder win the award? And in my mind, I've kind of come to the conclusion, I think the model builder wins the award.
Yeah.
And that being said, I don't think you should be able to compete against yourself. And, like if you took first, second, and third, well, you're competing against yourself.
Yeah.
I kind of look at it like a track meet where, you have a certain event, say the high jump or the broad jump or something, and you get 3 attempts at it. And your best attempt is the one that counts. And I kind of looking at models the same way now. You may have 3 models in one particular category. The one that's the best is the one that you're going to use for your score. And that's kind of how I'm looking at it now.
That's pretty interesting. And where my take on it, I'm actually looking at it from the guy who wins second place. I am one who I get to second place, but I saw there was a guy who had 3 models and all 3 of them were way better than mine. But because there was a no sweeps rule, he just got first place, and then I got second place. I don't know how to go about it with where is it the model or the builder that wins the award. Obviously, it's the builder that wins the award. But it also is a bit of it that I feel that it's the model too. It's the piece of work that's on the table that's getting judged. And it's kind of like I feel from the second or third place winner's point of view, this is how I feel. Some people might be grateful. Oh boy, I got a trophy. I wouldn't have if there was a no sweeps rule. Wasn't a no sweeps rule. But I don't feel like I deserve that trophy because I don't think my model was the second place model. That's where my view of it is. And so it's kind of
I understand that.
It's really and I totally see your point of view too. It really is kind of a thing of now I'm dead set on the name thing. The name thing, I'm not giving up on that. But
okay.
I can be a little soft on that no sweeps rule.
The reason that in my mind that I decided that it's the model builder that wins the award and not the model, because if it was the model itself that won the award, what does it matter who built it? You can enter a model built by so-and-so or by so-and-so that you didn't actually build because it's the model winning the award and not the builder. But so that's kind of what led me to go on the side that the builder wins the award and not the model itself.
I know guys who they're working, they like to build drag cars. That's all they build. So they have no choice. They're always going to be competing against themselves. And they work so hard on it. I know some guys are like, they're fine with that. Some are like, well, I should have won all 3 awards because I had the best models on the table. That's for their own inner thing. But I look at it more from the side of the person who comes in second or third. I have always felt that way when I have been that guy. If there was a no sweeps, that I felt like I didn't really deserve this. So I look at that award as kind of, it's not that's cool, thanks, but
I might be sliding a little off topic, but I kind of get that feeling like you're describing when I go to a show where they don't have a first, second, and third. They just give everybody a gold, or everybody, there'll be maybe 10 guys win a gold medal in a class, and 4 will win a silver, and 5 more will win a bronze. It's kind of the same thing, it just seems to me with like that. Well, they want to give everybody a prize, and maybe that's not their intent. But I was at a show like that where one guy it was an IPMS, so they had more than just cars. And one guy entered, I don't know how many models he entered in the figures class, but he won 15 gold medals.
Yeah.
And you come away, you don't really feel like you accomplished anything.
I got to agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
That one, that wouldn't sit well with me. To me, I think there should be if they're going to go with, medals like that, go with gold, silver, and bronze, and that's the end of it for every class. Whether you have no sweeps or not, it's got to be a third, second,
first, second, and third. Yeah, but I'm not going to not go to a show because they don't do it the way I prefer. Everybody's got their own opinions, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But there's certain ways I don't know. I guess the best way I can say it is, like I said, when I go to a show like that and I win a bunch of, medals, I don't feel like I accomplished anything because everybody won a bunch of medals.
Yeah, exactly. It's like what
Yeah.
it's kind of, yeah, and what do you end up doing with those? They kind of like go into the corner, go into a box, or possibly get
Yeah.
thrown away. You don't even, yeah, if it's big enough, it may be able to be a coaster. Yeah, yeah, that one, I'm on your side with that. That is, that's just seems, yeah, like no accomplishment really. And let me say, I don't know if we've ever talked about it. What is your view, or do you have any issues going to NNLs where, I mean, it's not really, is it the trophies or winning first place or whatever, what drives you to go to model shows, or you'll go to NNLs and you enjoy that too. You know, probably you won't be taking a trophy home, but it doesn't
I
matter.
enjoy an NNL as much as any show. In fact, it's in a way a non-competitive kind of show. You're a little more relaxed. You're just there for a good time, so you have a good time.
Yeah.
I go to a regular show for a good time as well, and if you win a medal or an award or a plaque or something, well, that's just a little icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of admit when I first started going to shows, 20 years ago or whenever it was, I was more competitive than I am now. Now I'm more there to talk to people, learn new techniques, look at other people's stuff. Years ago, if I thought I should have won an award and I didn't, I'm not going to say I'd be upset and I wouldn't stomp off, but I left the show with a kind of a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
But by the same tokens, there were just as many times when I won an award and I honestly didn't think I should have.
Yeah.
So it's just judging, and that's what I've kind of learned. It's somebody's opinion. Their opinion might be different than yours, and everybody's entitled to their opinion. So that shouldn't be the main reason you go to a show. But it's nice when you win something.
Yeah, only so many trophies you can have, but it's definitely, and I keep always, every time I talk about the subject of model shows, it's going to hang out with friends and meet new friends and being with people that we all have this common interest in, these cool little kits that just dominate our lives.
Yeah. Well, since I retired a few years ago. But that's when I got back into modeling, when I retired. And now I've been able to go to some shows that are, maybe shows I've never been to before, long distance away, where it might take me 2 or 3 days, 4 days to go there and back. And so I'm starting to meet new people. I'm starting to see
awesome.
models that I don't see, well, this is the same models I saw at the last show,
Yeah.
I'm starting to see new things, meet some new people, and I'm really enjoying that a lot.
That's great.
I get a lot of great ideas that I want to try on my models after I go to a show, and I'll see something. Oh gosh, the way he did that carburetor, I'd never thought of that. That is slick, and I'll go try something similar. And that's the big enjoyment for me now, going to shows.
That's cool that you're getting to travel. I know you've been talking about you might hit some of the shows out on this side of the country, and that'll be great. I'm looking forward to one day meeting you face to face and us.
Yeah. Well, we're actually right now we're putting together in the fall. My wife and we were going to do it last year. Something came up at the last minute. We couldn't do it, but we're going to drive the length of Route 66.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going to try and time it so that we're around your area when the model zone is going on, so I can hopefully go to that this year.
We'd have a lot of fun. They're having it at a different location this year because the location they normally have it is being under construction, but it's at an old Falcon Field Air Museum type place.
Oh, that'd be neat. Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, that'd be great. You come down here.
Yeah, I'd finally get a chance to look at that comet of yours.
Yeah, maybe I'll have that baby done so we can put our two comets next to each other. I really want that. I definitely want to do that.
I keep trying to goad you into finishing that.
Yeah, I will. I bust it out every once in a while and tinker with it. Really don't have much farther to go. Well, what I'm waiting on is there's a set of carburetors I want to get. I haven't gotten a hold of, and that's what I'm on hold of. Once I get those carburetors, I'm gonna whoop that thing. It's pretty well done. I just got to get the carburetors on it, detailed, and put everything together, and it is finished.
Mhm. Yeah,
But,
what you've got done so far looks great,
yeah,
to me.
every time I pull it, I look at that model and go, "Oh, this is so neat." I'm looking forward to getting it done. Those are so those. I mean, you and I, we love that kit. That is,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
it's a fun kit, and hopefully, maybe one day someone will maybe pop out a whole new retool of a Maverick. Wouldn't that be great? Wishful thinking.
Yeah, well, I keep hearing about somebody that might do that.
Yeah, well, it'd be cool in resin, but it'd be really cool in a styrene kit. I would
Yeah.
give up the one that I'm working on to have in resin to as much as I'd love to sell them. I want to make resin stuff and sell, of course. It's the business I'm in, but I really, as a modeler, I want a styrene kit done. I don't think we'll ever see those Johan ones ever again. So we would probably
I've
take
been
a
told that the molds are just no longer in existence for those.
yeah.
Is
I
what I've
don't
been told. Yeah.
yeah something happened with them, so they're but
So I'm hanging on to the ones I got.
oh yeah I got a
Yeah.
couple too. They're cool. But yeah, in the meantime, I got a little that one I'm working on it. That'll be neat. How many Mavericks do you have?
Unbuilt. I think I've got. I think I've got 3 Mavericks and maybe 4 or 5 Comets.
You still got a few of them in you, huh?
Yeah, yeah, probably more than I'll ever finish, but they're
Yeah.
there.
You've built a lot of them though. Got some really
I've
cool
done a
ones.
few.
Have you ever built any of the pro stocks for the 80s, or do you have interest in that era of pro stock?
The pro stocks I've done have all been from the 70s. I like pro stock in the 80s, but that wasn't really building models at that time, so I didn't really have a lot in my stash. I've got a couple of I believe they're Monogram Thunderbird pro stocks
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a nice kit.
that I plan on doing, but I've just, like we all have a million
Yeah.
plans, and
Oh
we get to what we can get to. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite pro stock is the 80s Camaro. That is what pops in my head whenever the word pro stock is said. I think of that rear Morrison Camaro actually. The rear
Mm-hmm.
Morrison Camaro is just like, and although I love all the other ones, I love the ones before that, and the late 70s pro stocks were getting really cool. But then when we got into the 80s cars, they were really getting low, and that
I think my
that Camaro
favorite
looks so
are
cool.
the Ford Fairmonts. The
Oh
Fairmont
yeah,
Future. Those are my favorite. I love the way those look. Those
boy,
are
it would
some
be
neat looking pro stocks.
yeah, those are cool. I've always wanted to do a model one. No model of it. I mean, there was a resin one that every once in a while was available. I remember when the guy was doing it, and he's someone who really knew Fairmonts. And
Yeah, I talked to him in my first stint of modeling, and I actually sent him a few pieces that he needed, as part of his molds to make molds out of. I sent him a few things, and yeah, he sent me a few samples of some of the stuff he did, and it was really nice. I mean, he really
yeah.
did a nice job of it.
So did you
But
ever
I've
get?
always wanted to build one of those Fairmonts, and hopefully I'll get around to doing it.
Did you get one of those Fairmonts from him?
I never got the body from him.
Oh,
I got a 351 Cleveland from him that he made, which at the time I don't think anybody else was making a 351 Ford Cleveland, and beautiful. I mean, it's just I still have it.
really?
I'm working on a Mustang 2 right now, pro stock, and I think that's going to be the motor that I put into it. That motor that I got from
Oh,
him.
very cool. Yeah, that
I had been for the few Cleveland that I had done. I'd done some Mustang 2s and a couple of Pintos, I think. But I had been taking the cylinder heads out of some of the NASCAR kits and
yeah,
just using the engine block, the Windsor engine block, and putting the Cleveland cylinder heads on it, making it look like a Cleveland.
that's a beautiful, beautiful thing of model car building.
Yeah.
Lots of time nobody ever notices.
Yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me. I remember I had this article. There was something that Dino Don did with a Ford engine, I think with his Fairmont. And what was bizarre is for some reason, either it looked like Chevy heads, or he made the head, or he made Chevy heads work or something. But the valve cover that was on there, it was a Ford engine. And it had Chevy Moroso valve covers on it.
The story that I got on that, and I actually, one of the models I built, I did this on. I think you saw the Dino Don Mustang 2 that I did. It had big block Chevy valve covers on it. And what I was told is that Moroso was one of his sponsors, but Moroso didn't have any Ford valve covers at the time.
Oh,
so they wanted him to use Moroso valve covers, so he made adapters to put Chevy valve covers on a Ford head.
Oh, is that what it was?
That's the story I heard.
Oh yeah. Until they finally made them,
and until they were able to come out with theirs. Yeah,
very interesting. Yeah, that model of yours got the attention of his family.
Yeah, I think you might have had a little something to do with that.
Might have, I don't know.
But yeah, she actually contacted me and told me that she thought it was really nice, and I've talked to her a couple times over the computer.
Oh, that's cool.
And that was really interesting. I was a big fan of his when I was a kid.
Yeah, and it's really nice to know that the family has got that car back into their possession.
Yeah, they embrace the history of it. I think that's great.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I believe Dino's nephew, who's Don, he's the one who's getting it all put back together. And I don't know if they're gonna ever run it, but maybe they'll be. You'll definitely start seeing that thing at some events.
Yeah.
I bet.
She showed me some pictures of the pieces, all laid out and where they're gonna put it together.
Looks beautiful. It looks like it's in great shape. I don't know if it was ever restored or it's just been taken well care of.
Yeah, you never can tell. I mean, the race cars were never the same from race to race. They were changing stuff on them all the time. So,
oh yeah, and they really up close weren't really that perfect either.
Yeah, they up close they looked a little rough. Yeah, but they didn't care what they looked like. No. They wanted them to go fast.
Yeah, they were tools. They were hammers. I one time was talking to another guy who restored vintage race cars once, and he had this particular car, put a lot of effort into the research and the history of it, got it all built the way it was and restored and everything, and got the opportunity to show the guy who built and raced that car back in the day. And the racer said, "Is that what you spent your money on? Don't you have something better to spend your money on or something?" He didn't get it. He was like, yeah. "Why would you do this?" It's like, well, we love these things, Yeah. Yep. And these guys, to me, we have this passion of replicating real race cars that we loved. And these guys who have the money to be able to build the real ones or restore the real ones. I mean, it's kind of the same thing for them. It's a passionate thing. These cars meant something. Yeah, I don't know. Did you watch Tim Brown's video he dropped today that was on the Nostalgia Pro Stock cars?
No, I would be interested to see that. Yeah.
You should watch it. There's a little part that's really interesting, kind of really speaks what I was just saying. So there was a guy who he didn't restore. It's a tribute car. He built it of the Bob Glidden Fairmont. And as Tim's walking up and the guy's talking, and Tim kind of was talking to him, and he kind of stuck the camera in the car to show the dash and all that stuff and inside. Guy was like excited, he was just like, I'm living the dream. I'm sitting where Bob Glidden sat type thing, or I'm pretending I'm Bob Glidden type thing.
Yeah.
I built this car, and it had all these really neat things on it. Tim shows of little tributes to Bob, everything. That was like that dude was a real fan who was lucky enough in life to have the money to build a real one instead of a model and be able to take it up to the racetrack and entertain people with it.
Yeah, that's
And
great.
it was really interesting hearing him in there, how he was talking. He was just so excited to be there doing that. That's pretty cool.
I
And
can
it's
imagine. Yeah,
yeah.
I would love to be able to do something like
Oh,
that.
yeah. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great? Well, I tell you what, we're going to take a little break here and we're going to come back and we'll talk a little more model talk. What do you say?
Sounds great.
All righty. We'll see you all in a few moments. You're watching the Luka C channel on YouTube. Well, we're back and we got Raisin Garrett here, one of the coolest names in model car building. Oh man, so you got any other shows you got planned coming up here real soon?
There's one in Kentucky in a couple weeks that I'm thinking about going to, but other than that, I think the schedule's pretty slim for a few months.
Yeah, this time of the year, everybody's kind of like doing family stuff in the summer.
Right. Yeah. Seems like in the fall they really pick up and there's a lot of them around.
Yeah. A lot more car shows though, real car shows.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we do a lot of that in the summer.
Yeah, you got a couple of pretty cool cars.
It's oldies but goodies, I guess.
Yeah, your old Fords. Do you mostly, I know you really, what is it, the 60 Starliner?
Yep, we got a 1960 Starliner, and then I also have a 1952 two-door post custom line Ford.
And you usually cruise the Starliner though, go to that car hangouts and cruises and stuff.
Yeah, well, I take them both out. I switch them around, but the Starliner is really my baby. That's a car I've wanted my whole life.
Yeah, that's your dream car.
I found the 52 when I was looking for a Starliner, and I thought, this is a neat old car. It'll do until I can get a Starliner. And then I found a Starliner, but I kept it too. So
the Starliner is what you're going to take on the Route 66 run, huh?
No, I don't think so. My wife wouldn't go with that one. We'll be going in a modern car.
Yeah. Oh well.
She's got to have air conditioning.
Oh yeah, you don't have air conditioning. I know, man. You have these old cars so many times. I never had air conditioning in any of them, and it's out here. That's tough. That's real tough out here.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
So I went with a little more late model, which they're old now, but it still seems like a late model to me. Is my '88 Fox Body Mustang, and that has the nicest, coldest air, and I won't get rid of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably got something to do with my advanced age, but that doesn't seem like an old car to me. That still seems like a new car. I know it's not. I
know that's the weird thing is I know a couple buddies of mine. We were just talking about that. That's how I look at the car. I love the car and I'm having fun with it. I had a hankering to have one when I bought it, and then I was like, wow, I'm really missing my old cars. And I was like, it just doesn't seem like an old classic car to me. It's a fun car. I love driving it, enjoy it, looks cool. The younger people go, wow, check that out. That's cool. You don't see them around anymore.
Yeah.
But
well, I think I'm a bit older than you. And
yeah.
I had before the car I had before I got the custom line was a 72 Torino. And I had that since 1984. I just recently sold it to my brother. But even that doesn't really seem like an old car to me. Yeah, I remember when they were brand new. And so it doesn't seem old.
Yeah, that's the thing. And with the Mustang, for me, I remember when they were new, and I didn't like the Mustangs in the 80s until 87, when they kind of looked like the way mine is, where they got the what they call the Aero look or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I liked what Ford was doing with their cars in 87, 88. And I remember seeing that and I was like, oh, I like that car now. I was more into GMs back then. I actually had Trans Ams of the era. And that I always thought about it would be cool to own one, cool to get one. They're neat cars, but I was, in my early 20s when that car came out. So to me, it just seems like still seems like a new car,
Exactly.
not a classic.
Yeah,
To me,
exactly.
having an old car, like I had a lot of, 60s and early 70s cars, and I love that time period of automobile, everything about it, all the way to the way the carpet was and the interiors. It's I just love how it is driving them, and yeah, I would love to get something, but they're just so expensive now. Even just absolute garbage is so expensive.
Yeah, they sure are.
So we build the toy.
Well, I can certainly understand where you're living, having to have air conditioning. Yeah,
Oh
for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
that is for sure. That's like the big plus of having my late model classic car.
Hmm.
But yeah, that thing, when I bought it, it was, oh good, AC, it works, outstanding. And it had been converted to R134 too.
Okay, so you didn't have to deal with that. Yeah.
No, it was that, so that was nice. But yeah, that's a needed thing. But yeah, those are this time of year you're probably doing a lot of the real car stuff then.
Yeah, I am. It seems like a couple nights a week I'll take the car out to one of the local cruises, and then on the weekends there's always a big show somewhere.
Yeah.
There's so many shows now. It's I hate to say it, but it's almost like it's not even special anymore because
Really?
there's I mean, I could go to a local cruise, every night of the week if I wanted to. They're everywhere.
Wow.
Um,
I mean, we have out here, there are several on Saturday nights around the valley, and there's one on Wednesday night, and then there's quite a few cars and coffee morning ones on Fridays and Saturdays, and some Sundays and stuff like that. So there's a lot of them around here too. I don't go to any of them.
yeah, well, I mean, it's gotten the last few years where, like, say you're going to take your car out on a Thursday night, you got to decide which show you're going to go to. It's not like you go to the
Wow.
Thursday show. You got to decide which Thursday show you're going to.
Gee whiz. Yeah, we don't have that here.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, a Saturday night we kind of do, but it is almost like where you live. This place is so spread out that sometimes it's fun to go over to the other ones, but you go to the one that's closest to you. It can't be just model cars all the time. We're car guys, right? That's why we build model cars.
I really assume that that's why the model car shows tend to slow down in the summer because most or a lot of the guys that do the models, at least, around here, they've got some kind of a special interest car as well.
Yeah.
And, in the summer, that's when we play with that. In the fall and, winter months, that's when we work on the models.
Yeah. It's a little bit of the opposite out here because it gets so hot. There's not a lot of car things going on. People aren't going out with the cars as much, and the car hangouts. It's just so hot. And
So for you, you go out more in the
yeah,
in the
it's
winter when
in the
it's
winter time.
nicer weather.
We have like two peak times because there's this point, not only the holidays, but it does get pretty cold here in January. But it's only like a few weeks that we have some cold, not like what you go through. I know that. But for us, it's a cold that it's just uncomfortable enough that you don't feel like hanging around at night at a car hangout. There's only like maybe 3 weeks of that. So you will have September, October, beginning of November, like late September, because it's still pretty hot in September. So it's pretty much October and early November is kind of a time where all the car guys are out with their cars and hanging out. But it really peaks after, getting into February, and the car hangouts are huge. February, March, April.
So
Especially
you guys
when
are getting them out about the time we're putting them away.
oh yeah. And
Yeah.
especially, when the Barrett Jackson auto auction's going on, they got the like there's 3 different auctions that are going on at the beginning of the year, and also World of Wheels comes, or not World of Wheels. Used to be World of Wheels. No, then we have like Good Guys comes. And boy, oh boy, when those events are taking place, there's a particular little cruise in that's been one of the longest lasting cruise ins. It's been in Hot Rod Magazine and everything. It's called the Rock and Roll McDonald's Cruise In, or the Scottsdale Pavilions is where it's at. And that's not too far from where they put those events on. So those things will be packed on those weekends. And then there'll be people from out of town who are there for the Barrett Jackson, or for good guys that go down there and hang out and bring their cars, or sometimes they're looking for cars to buy. I've known people who've sold their car at the cruise in because some out-of-stater who was at the Barrett Jackson comes walking up with a briefcase full of money. It happens. So there's a lot of hopefuls. Sometimes they take their cars out kind of hoping. It's funny. I know car ads.
I know two people that were friends of ours who they ended up selling their car, they never had any intention of selling it, but somebody saw it and just offered them too much money.
Because the prices, especially, a running car with every, pretty much get in there, fire it up, and you can drive the car hangout. Yeah, they go for a lot of money.
Well, I say there's still a lot of cheap cars out there. The problem is the people want a lot of money for them.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's a good way to put it. There's a lot of cheap cars out there. Yeah, I'm always looking on the sites, that sell them, and it's just like, these cars shouldn't be that much. That's crazy, but it is what it is. It kind of ruined the hobby, but
as long as somebody will pay it, I guess that's what it's worth.
That's the thing. It's all what someone will pay, and people are paying. But and we see that with model cars too, I guess, sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not really a collector per se. I don't have anything against people that collect them. That's great. That's not for me. But I look at the prices some of these kits people are asking for, and I'm thinking, do people really pay that? I don't know.
Well, it's like, we've talked about this kit is that red alert, and it's not even right.
Yeah.
And that was one of those kits that I bought it to. I don't want to say that I don't collect. This is not a collection, although it is a collection and all that stuff. But everything I buy to build. I like to have this stash. When I feel like doing something, I know I could go over there and reach and grab, I have that kit. I actually have 3, so I can build 3 different versions. Or there's a lot of kits I buy because the chassis is really cool, like those 67 Pro Street Chevelles. I got a bunch of those just because I use those in so many other cars. But every once in a while, there's certain models. It's just like I enjoyed box art. I love the look of box art, and I don't know. I just wanted that model because of, like that red alert. It was just a model, but I wouldn't pay a lot of money for it. I got an extremely good deal on it, so that's what was cool about it.
Nothing at all wrong with that. That's great. If you want to collect them.
And the way I look at it is, I'm the curator of it, or whatever. I'm just holding it right now. I'm enjoying it. There'll be a day someone else will get it. Maybe my daughter will find someone who will pay stupid money for it, or she might let it go to someone who is, just a cool modeler that enjoys it the way I do.
I have a lot of the Pro Street, I think that's Super B kits.
Oh yeah, that's a great
that I use for the chassis. I cut the back half off of it and make a Pro Street something out of it. I don't think I've ever built a Pro Street Super B, but I've used that chassis on a lot of builds.
Yeah, that's a great one. That is a really, really good one. I've got a few of them for that same thing. I do want to build one, but I've got like 4 of them because that's a great, especially for doing another Mopar. There's a lot of Mopars I would like to do and tub them, but just cutting that back half off, it will go in anything.
Yeah.
Because the whole back half portion is really generic. It's all fabricated, and if it was a real one, it would be speed.
I was kind of lucky in that there was some slot car drag racing going on in the area, and these guys would buy the kits and just take the body out, and then I'd buy the rest of the kit from them, for $5 or something.
Yeah.
So I have a bunch of these chassis. I don't have the bodies for them, but I didn't really care. It's not what I wanted them for. Yeah.
I've got a few kits that I've got because there was slot car racing going pretty big for a while at one time here. And I picked up a bunch of, for, couple bucks, a bunch of good chassis and stuff like that. Heck yeah, man. Parts. I know that's something that people ask. I see people with these collections and they have 2, 3, 4. I don't understand. Why would you want 2 or 3, 4 kits? Well, there are particular kits like what we do. There's uses for those chassis that will work for other cars. It's not that I'm going to build 5 67 Chevelles. By any means, I'm not. I don't really like the 67 Chevelle, but that chassis.
Well, you actually had a video recently where you were using a Chevelle chassis, combining it with the Red Alert.
Yeah,
and I thought that was a great idea. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That one. Right. Yeah. The where that new Chevelle that Revell put out.
Right.
68, 69 Chevelle. Yeah, the whole thing of taking that and taking the 70 AMT body and making a proper Red Alert.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah.
Can't wait to see yours done.
It's on the list. It's on the list. I got a Mercury to finish.
Yeah.
What are you working on right now?
Well, actually, we kind of talked a little bit about the real cars, and that's kind of where my focus has been lately. I haven't really worked on models much for the last maybe month and a half. Before that, I had started on a pro stock Mustang 2, the Gap and Roush Mustang 2. So that'll probably be the next one. When I kind of get back into it, that'll be what I'm working on. I'm lucky enough that I live pretty close to the Gap and Roush, or not, the Jack Roush Museum. And he's got the car in there on display, and they're in the process of restoring it right now. So it's kind of all apart.
Oh, nice. That works out.
Yeah, I get a lot of reference pictures and stuff for it.
That's cool. Yeah, you took some pictures of that silver street legal
sudden death Mustang.
Sudden death. I've always wanted to do a model of that thing, and I've got I think I got 2 of those. Do I? Yeah, those what were they? The firefighter pro.
Right.
Yeah. So
I actually saw that sudden death back in the day. Out on there was this one parking lot off of I-696 where everybody gathered, and I never saw it actually race, but I saw the car.
Oh, back in the day, huh?
Yeah, a lot of heavy hitters there. A lot of heavy hitters. But yeah, I'd kind of like to do that car too.
Another car that kind of surfaced that was a really well-known, has a cool history, street racer in the Detroit area, was that Silver Bullet GTX.
The Silver Bullet, yeah. Jimmy Addison, I think, was the guy's name that had it.
Yeah, man. And I was looking at the Silver Bullet and going, oh, yeah, wow. That would be a cool one. And then I watched a video recently that the guy who owns it now, they went all over that car and showed all the little things about it. And it's like, oh, that could be a really, really cool model car project. Just I already have 2,963 other ideas that I've come up with over the few years. But that would be a really cool build.
That Silver Bullet was actually basically a factory sponsored street racing car.
It was. It was like a hush hush type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that was running it, I guess they pretty much gave it to him. Something like that.
Yeah, I think the Chrysler engineers had a lot to do with that car.
Yeah. That was out there killing it. And then it was kind of like sudden death kind of took over later on in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those silver cars, you got to watch out for them, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that sudden death car, I remember reading an article about that many years ago. And at that time, all I ever saw were black and white pictures of it. I didn't see colored ones till later, the internet and all that stuff. And then I saw a video that was done at Jack's museum, and the video showed really great shots of the car in the video. And that's when I really could, the different color tones and stuff, and how the fiberglass bumpers were kind of like just a gray. And so I always thought they were painted silver like the car. And then you sent me some really great pictures of it. You like the underside. Actually, when I looked at your pictures that you sent me, because you took some shots underneath the car for me so I could see the chassis, I got to thinking, you know what? I might not use one of those firefighter or whatever, the Pro Street or Pro Stock Mustang 2. I might build it off of one of the street cars that I have and do all the fabrication of the back half. Might do it that way, because I might want to do some Pro Stocks with those firefighters. So I kind of got ideas for those. But yeah, that was such a weird, unique car, that one. And it just has quite the story behind it. The fact that it was like a mafia guy who commissioned him to build it or something. Maybe.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories. Some of them might even be true.
Maybe. Yeah, that's cool that you were kind of around there and got to see some of those cars.
Yeah, I was just a young punk then, but
yeah,
we'd go up there and hang around and look at stuff.
That's cool. Yeah, that would be a very interesting project. You're watching the Luka C channel on YouTube. Do you have like planned out stuff? Like after you get done with this next one, are you going to move on? You got another one you're going to build after that? Or you just whatever you feel when you're done with
I play it by ear.
Model?
I seem to go in spurts where, like I would go into my Pro Stock spurt and I'd build 3, 4, 5 maybe Pro Stocks, and then I kind of want to move on to something else, and I'll go on to the next thing I'm building is some factory stocks, and I'll build a few of those, and then I'll burn out on that, and maybe it's time to do some street rods, whatever. That seems to be the pattern I go in.
Yeah.
I don't plan it that way. It just seems to happen that way. Like I'll finish building one, say I finished building a Pro street car, and I look at it and I think, God, I wish I would have done this, or I could have done this better, or this better, so I'll build another one and try to make it better. Then after maybe 2 or 3 of those, then it's time to branch out and try something else. I don't have a really one particular genre that I build. Just whatever suits me when it's time to build it.
I'll tell you, when you were in your circle track phase, and when you built that Bob Seneca Camaro, there I said it. The one that you saw, you knew the rear of that car really well.
Yeah, I knew the rear very well. Yeah.
Yeah, that model is beautiful. But you put up some pictures of it, and I remember seeing the picture of the interior, and I could have swore I was looking at a real race car for a second there. Did a real nice shot on the interior. The way the seat looked and everything, I was like, wait, is that the real car? Oh no, that's his model. Wow.
Yeah.
I love that model. That's cool. But are you ever going to build a model of yours?
I actually started some time ago gathering some parts together to build a model of the Pinto that I raced. My first race car was a mini stock Pinto.
Yeah.
And I found it, a 2-liter Ford motor, was at a swap meet somewhere, and and I said, well, I could use this. Then I found a Pinto body somewhere, and I'm kind of got a bag full of parts for when I ready to start on that. Yeah.
That's cool.
The Camaro, I probably someday I'll build a model of the Camaro I raced as well. Yeah, I'm sure I will.
Yeah, that was a neat looking race car.
It was a lot of fun. Those were some good times.
Oh yeah, I bet. And then getting to race with all them greats that later on went on, big with ASA and all that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, in this area of the country, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, there were a lot of heavy hitters in the late models. A lot of them.
Yeah,
I mean, you were
great race.
You learned fast. And one thing I found out when I started the real car racing was they're really willing to help you a lot until you're almost as fast as they are. Then all of a sudden they don't want to help you no more.
That's pretty much always been the thing everywhere. with Raisin. I
Yeah,
ran into that too. Well, this has been fun just gabbing about model cars. I'm glad you came on, and we got to dice it up on a few controversy, and we got to talk real car and what we're working on. And I enjoy your models so much, and I've had this friendship that we started, and just talking online a lot, and you coming on the show. I'll probably have you on again later on, because it's just enjoyable to talk, and I really think
anytime.
we've got you've got some good stuff to kind of put out there to all the model builders to help inspire them. That's what we all do this for, is just to inspire one another. That's the whole point of the Facebook groups and all that stuff. It's been neat with this technology that's brought our big model car community really close and together.
Oh yeah, it's amazing how you can make friendships now with people that in the past you would never even have heard of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. It is so cool. Thanks a bunch for coming on, man. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, I did too.
Good. Well, we'll do it again for sure. So everybody, should I put them on the spot? Yeah, I think I will. I think you're going to have to do it. Let's do that. Maybe have you practiced at all?
Boy, no, I haven't practiced, but
Did you forget that I was going to do that? You notice I never said anything. I never said anything about it.
Yeah. Well, let's keep gluing the styrene together and try not to glue it to your fingers.
Okay, that works. We'll do that one. Maybe that could be a new t-shirt. Excellent. All right. Thanks a bunch. And everybody, you go on and build those model cars, because heck, they are so fun. And well, here's the producers.